Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night whenever you watch my video. Let me introduce myself first. My name is Muhammad HAIKAL KHAIRAN from English Education Study Program, Sriwijaya University. In this video, I'm going to review a whole chapter from the second edition of the book Basic English Grammar by Betty Scramper-Azar. Enjoy the video! For chapter 1, we are going to talk about using be and have. Be and have are two of the most essential verbs in English, serving multiple functions depending on the context. They can act as main verbs or auxiliary verbs, each with distinct rules and uses. Be is an irregular verb with various forms. Those are am, is, are, was, were, being, and also been. Its usage depends on the tense, subject, and grammatical function. Be is used for states, descriptions, and forming continuous tenses or the passive voice. Okay, in the table we can see the usage of be in present, past, and future. For subject I, we use am in present tense, and was in past tense, and will be in future tense. For subject you, we, and they, we use are in present, were in past, and will be in future. For he, she, it, we use is in present and was in past, and lastly will be also in future. Be as a main verb. For the first one, is the usage is to describe states or conditions. For examples, I'm happy. The weather is cold. Second one is to express identity or relationships. Examples, she's my teacher. They were friends. For the third one is to indicate existence or location. Example, there is a book on the table. The party was in the garden. Be as an auxiliary verb. For the first one is in continuous tense. For examples, she is studying for her exam. We were playing football. They will be arriving soon. Second usage is in passive voice. For the examples, the cake is being baked now. The letter was sent yesterday. Okay, so now we are moving on to have. Have is another irregular verb with forms like have, has, had, and having. It is used in a variety of ways, both as a main verb and an auxiliary verb. Have primarily shows possession or is used to form perfect tenses. Okay, for subject I, you, we, they, we use have in present tense. We use had in past tense, and we use will have in future tense. For subject he, she, it, we use has in present, we use had in past, and we use will have in future. Have as a main verb. For the first one, usage is possession. I have a car. She has a lot of friends. Second one is experiences or relationships. Examples, he had a great time at the party. We have 3 siblings. The last one is obligations. I have to finish my homework. She had to leave early. Have as an auxiliary verb. For the for the usage is in perfect tenses. Examples are, I have finished my work. She had left before we arrived. They will have completed the project by tomorrow. Okay, now let's moving on to chapter 2 and chapter 3. Expressing present time. Expressing the present time in English involves using specific verb forms and structures to describe actions, states, or situation occurring right now, habits, general truths, or ongoing processes. Present simple tense is used for general facts, habits, routines, and states that are true in the present. Okay, for the formula for affirmative is subject plus verb, best verb. We usually add s or es for third person singular. Example: she plays tennis. Negative one is subject plus do or does plus not plus base verb. Example: he does not like coffee. For the third one is question form. Do or does plus subject plus base verb plus question mark. Example: do you see Harun? Uses of present simple. For the first one is to express habits and routines. Example: I walk to work every day. For the second one is general facts or truth. Example: water boils at 100 degrees Celsius. Third one is permanent states. Example: she lives in London. Last one, scheduled events. The train leaves at 6 p.m. Okay, next is present continuous. The present continuous tense describes action happening now, temporary situations, or future plans. For the formula for the form, affirmative one is subject plus am is are plus verb ing. Example: he is studying. Second one is negative. The form is subject plus am is are plus not plus verb ing. Example: they are not coming. Question: am is are plus subject plus verb ing plus question mark. Example: are you working now? Okay, uses of present continuous. First one is actions happening now. Example: she is cooking dinner. Second one is to express temporary actions or states. Example: I'm staying at my friend's house this week. Third one is for future arrangements. Example: we are meeting them tomorrow. For the fourth one is changing situations. Example: the weather is getting colder. Okay, chapter 4. Nouns and pronouns. Nouns are words that name a person, place, thing, idea, or quality. They form the foundation of sentences because they often act as the subject or object of a verb. Pronouns are words that take the place of nouns to avoid repetition and make sentences clearer. Types of nouns. There are 6 types of nouns. For the first one is proper nouns. Those are name specific people, places, or things and are always capitalized. Examples: Alice, New York, Eiffel Tower. Second one is common nouns. Those are name general categories of people, places, things, or ideas. Examples: teacher, city, building. Third one is concrete nouns. Refer to things that can be perceived with the sense. Those are seen, touched, heard, smelled, or taste. Examples: apple, dog, and music. Fourth one is abstract nouns. Refer to ideas, qualities, or concepts that cannot be physically touched. Examples: love, freedom, and intelligence. For the fifth one is countable nouns. Can be counted and have singular and plural forms. Examples: book or books, chair or chairs. Sixth one is uncountable nouns, which is nouns that cannot be counted individually and do not have a plural form. Examples: water, rice, information. Okay, let's move on to types of pronouns. For the first one is personal pronouns. It refers to specific people or things. There are two personal pronouns. For the first one is subject pronouns. Those are I, you, he, she, it, we, and they. Example, she's reading. Object pronouns. Those are me, you, him, her, it, us, them. Example, the teacher called him. Second one is possessive pronouns. It show ownership or possession. Examples: mine, yours, his, hers, its, ours, theirs. Example: this book is mine. Third one is reflexive pronouns. It refers back to the subject of the sentence. Examples: myself, yourself, himself, herself, itself, ourselves, yourselves, themselves. Example: he, her, himself. For the fourth one is demonstrative pronouns. It's point to specific things. Examples: this, that, these, those. Example: this is delicious. For the fifth one is interrogative pronouns. It's introduce questions. Examples: who, whom, whose, what, which. Example: who is calling? Sixth one is relative pronouns. It is introduce relative clauses and relate them to a noun. Examples: who, whom, whose, which, that. Example: the man who helped me was kind. For the last one is indefinite pronouns. It refers to non-specific people or things. Examples: someone, anyone, everyone, nobody, all, some. Example: everybody is welcome. Let's move on to chapter 5, expressing past time. The simple past tense is used to describe completed actions or events that happened in the past. It is one of the most commonly used tenses in English, especially for storytelling and recounting past experiences. Forming the simple past. Number 1. Regular verbs. For regular verbs, add ed to the base form of the verb. Examples: the base form is play, the past form is played, the base form is watch, the past form is watched. Spelling rules. Number 1. If the verb ends in e, just add d. Example: live, to live. 2. If the verb ends in consonant plus y, change y to I and add ed. Example: study, to studied. 3. For one-syllable verbs with a single vowel plus single consonant, we usually double the consonant and add ed. Example: stop, to stop. 2. Irregular verbs. Irregular verbs do not follow a specific pattern and must be memorized. Examples: go, become, went. Eat, become, ate. See, become, saw. 3. Negative form. Use the auxiliary verb did not, or the contraction is didn't, plus the base form of the main verb. Example: positive, she worked yesterday. So the negative form is she didn't work yesterday, or she did not work yesterday. 4. Questions. Form questions with did plus subject plus base form of the main verb. Example: statement: he finished the project. So the question is, did he finish the project? Signal words for simple past. Signal words often indicate that the simple past tense should be used. These include time expressions. Those are yesterday, last week or month or year, in plus past year, ago, specific times. For examples, you may read it by yourself. To be in the simple past. The verb to be is irregular and has two forms in the past. Was, used with I, he, she, it, or we may call it singular subjects, and were, used with you, we, they, or we may call it plural subjects. There are three forms of to be in simple past. Affirmative: I was at the library. They were happy. Negative: I was not at the library. They were not happy. Questions: was he at home? Were they excited? Okay, now for the chapter 6, expressing future time. In English, future time is expressed using different verbs, forms, and structures. These forms allow us to talk about plans, predictions, promises, scheduled events, and other situations that will occur after the present moment. Unlike past and present tenses, English does not have a single future tense, but uses a variety of grammatical structures to express the future. Common structures for expressing future. Ulang. 1, 2, 3. Common structures for expressing future time. 1. Will or shall plus base verb. Form: affirmative. Subject plus will or shall plus base verb. Example: I will call you tomorrow. Negative: subject plus will shall not plus base verb. Example: she will not attend the meeting. Question form: will or shall plus subject plus base verb plus question mark. Example: will they arrive on time? Signal words for future time is certain words and phrases indicate that future time is being discussed. For will or shall, those are tomorrow, next week, next year, soon, and in the future. Example: she will visit us tomorrow. For going to, those are in a moment, later, soon, in a few minutes. Example: they are going to leave in an hour. Chapter 7, expressing ability. Expressing ability in English refers to discussing what someone can or cannot do. This involves talking about skills, capabilities, or possibilities, whether in the present, past, or future. English uses modal verbs like can, could, and be able to, as well as other structures to express ability. Expressing present ability. 1. Using can. The modal verb can is the most common way to express ability in the present. Form: for affirmative form, subject plus can plus base verb. Example: she can swim very well. Negative form: subject plus cannot plus base verb. Example: he cannot speak French. Question form: can plus subject plus base verb plus question mark. Example: can you drive? Expressing past ability using could. The modal verb could is used to express general ability in the past. Form: affirmative form, subject plus could plus base verb. Example: she could read when she was 4. Negative: subject plus could not plus base verb. Example: he couldn't swim last year. Question form: could plus subject plus base verb plus question mark. Examples: could you solve the problem? Second one is using was or were able to. while could is used for general past abilities. Was or were able to is preferred for specific instances of success. Affirmative form: subject plus was were able to plus base verb. Example: she was able to finish the task on time. Negative form: subject plus was or were not able to plus base verb. Example: they were not able to come to the party. Question form: was or were plus subject plus able to plus base verb plus question mark. Example: were you able to solve the puzzle? Expressing future ability. 1. Using will be able to. To talk about abilities in the future, will be able to is used. For affirmative form, subject plus will be able to plus base verb. Example: I will be able to attend the meeting tomorrow. Negative form: subject plus will not be able to plus base verb. Example: she won't be able to join us next week. Question form: will plus subject plus be able to plus base verb plus question mark. Example: will you be able to finish the project? Other ways to express ability. First one, using know how to. This phrase is often used to express learned abilities. Examples: I know how to play chess. Do you know how to drive? Second one, using capable of. The phrase be capable of is used to describe someone's potential or skill. Examples: she is capable of solving complex problems. They were capable of finishing the task quickly. Chapter 8. Nouns, Pronouns, and Adjectives. Since nouns and pronouns were already discussed earlier, I will only discuss adjectives. Adjectives are words that describe, modify, or give more information about nouns or pronouns. They help to make language more descriptive and precise, enabling speakers and writers to convey detailed information about people, places, objects, and ideas. Characteristics of adjectives. Usually, adjectives describe qualities, size, shape, age, color, origin, material. And usually, adjectives answers what kind, which one, how many, and how much question. For the examples, you may see it by yourself. Order of adjectives. When using multiple adjectives, they generally follow this order. 1 is opinion, 2nd is size, 3rd is age, 4th is shape, 5th is color, 6th is origin, 7th is material, 8th is purpose. Example: a beautiful small all-round blue French wooden cooking pot. Chapter 9. Making comparisons. Making comparisons in English is a way to highlight the differences or similarities between two or more things. This can involve comparing adjectives, adverbs, or even nouns. There are several ways to make comparison depending on the context and the type of comparison being made. Examples: equality, superiority, or inferiority. Types of comparisons. 1. Comparisons of equality. To express that two things are equal or similar in a particular quality, we use structures that show no difference between the items that being compared. 4. As plus adjective or adverb plus as. Example: she is as tall as her brother. He runs as quickly as you. 2. Comparisons of superiority. To express that one thing has more of a quality than another, we use comparative adjectives or adverbs. This shows that one thing surpasses the other in terms of a certain quality. 4. For short adjectives, one syllable or some two-syllable adjectives is adjective plus er, than. Example, she is taller than her friend. This book is cheaper than that one. For long adjectives, two or more syllables is more plus adjective plus than. Example, this movie is more interesting than that one. She is more talented than her brother. For adverbs, especially ones with ly ending, for short adverbs is adverb plus er than. Example, she runs faster than I do. For long adverbs with ly ending is more plus adverb plus than. Example, he speaks more clearly than I do. 3. Comparisons of inferiority is to express that one thing has less of a quality than another. We use structures that show a lesser degree of comparison. Form for short adjectives is less plus adjective plus than. Example, this car is less expensive than that one. He speaks less clearly than I do. For long adjectives is less plus adjective plus than. Example, her story is less interesting than his. She works less efficiently than he does. Irregular comparative forms. In this table, you can see the irregular comparative forms. For good, the comparative form is better than. Example, this exam was better than the last one. For adjective bad, the comparative form is worse than. Example, this movie is worse than the book. For adjective far, the comparative form is farther than or further than. Example, this street is further than the other. For little, the comparative form is less than. Example, he has less money than she does. For much, comparative form is more than. Example, she has more energy than I do. Okay, let's move on to superlative comparisons. When comparing three or more things, we use the superlative form of adjectives and adverbs to express the highest or lowest degree of quality. For short adjectives is adjective plus est. Example, he is the fastest runner in the team. That was the oldest book in the library. For long adjective, the most plus adjective. Example, this is the most interesting movie I've ever seen. That is the most expensive restaurant in town. For adverbs, the most plus adverb, especially for long adverbs. Example, she speaks the most fluently of all the candidates. He worked the hardest of anyone in the group. Last chapter is chapter 10, expressing ideas with verbs. Verbs are essential in English grammar because they convey actions, states, or occurrences. They serve as the core of sentences, helping to express ideas, thoughts, and actions clearly. By choosing the right verbs and verb forms, we can communicate when something happens, how it happens, and to what extent. Modal verbs. Modal verbs are auxiliary verbs that express necessity, possibility, permission, ability, and other conditions related to the main verb. They help to modify the meaning of the main verb. There are 7 common modal verbs. First one is can. It expresses ability or possibility. Example, she can swim. Second one is could. Express past ability or possibility and polite requests. Examples, when I was young, I could run fast. Could you help me please? May. Express permission or possibility. Example, you may leave now. Might. Express less certain possibility. Example, I might go to the party. Must. Express necessity or strong recommendation. Examples, you must study for the test. He must be at the meeting by now. Should. Express advice or expectation. Example, you should try this. Would. Express polite requests or hypothetical situation. Example, I would like some coffee. Using let's. Let's is a contraction of let us and is used to make suggestion or give encouragement to a group. For the first one, usage is to making suggestion, to proposes an idea or plan for a group. Example, let's go to the park. Second one is to motivate or persuade others to join in an activity. Example, let's work together to solve this problem. The third one is in negative form. To suggest not doing something, we usually use let's not. Example, let's not waste any more time. Fourth one, asking for agreement. Let us can also be used to seek approval or agreement. Example, let's finish this task before lunch, shall we? Now I'm going to talk about using since. Since is a conjunction, preposition, or adverb used to indicate a starting point in time, a reason, or a cause. First one is to indicating time. Refers to a specific time in the past up to the present. Example, I have lived here since 2010. More example, he has been working hard since he joined the company. Second one is indicating reason or cause. Means because or as. Example, since it's raining, we should stay indoors. Third one, common usage with present perfect. Often used with the present perfect tense to show when an action started and is still ongoing. Example, she has been studying since morning. Using have to. Have to is used to express obligation or necessity. It is very similar to must, but can be used in all tenses, making it more versatile. First one, expressing obligation or necessity. It indicates that something is required or necessary. Example, I have to go to work early tomorrow. In negative form, it indicates that something is not necessary. Examples, you don't have to come to the meeting if you are busy. We don't have to finish it today. Tomorrow is fine. Past and future tenses. Unlike must, have to can be used in past or future tenses. For past, I had to leave early yesterday. For future, she will have to take the exam next week. Okay, I think that's all for all the material. I hope this video would help you to understood about basic English grammar. I'm Muhammad HAIKAL KHAIRAN. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.